You said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving Black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that Blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that Blacks need fewer antigens.
This is so dangerous.
So you get the same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
What just happened? What just happened? What is going on? She's being so condescending and she thinks that she's doing something and she's not. She's not making the point that she thinks she's making. He's actually being inclusive and progressive. He's doing what the Democrats claim they want. I thought this was common knowledge, but maybe it's not. Please let me know. Do you already know this? I want to figure out if this is like something that everybody knows or not. But back in the old days, people used to, when they did studies, they would only study white men. I think it was only in the last couple of decades that it suddenly occurred to them that maybe we should do studies on women as well and other races as well, and maybe we'll get different results. And yes, they did. They got different results when they studied more diversely. And like, there's been so much talk about diversity recently, and she just decided that diversity is racist. What? Was it not one of her colleagues who was pushing for, and I think she may have been successful, for getting female crash dummies for testing crashes? And some people on the right mocked her for that, but it was actually a very good point that she had made and a very good thing, because it's true, women's bodies and children's bodies react differently in crashes because of weight distribution and stuff. And it is actually beneficial to have male, female, and child crash dummies to test on. And this is the same thing. This is the same thing. He's being the opposite of racist. He's being inclusive. And you're saying that that's why you're voting no. And that is so bad. This is so, it's actually embarrassing. I feel like I'm being gaslit. I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with some of these people in government. It is crazy. Like, they can't believe what they're saying. It's so frustrating. But this is actually, we've reached the peak. This is the summit. There's no further it can go now, because being inclusive, being progressive, being considerate of other races is now racist, apparently. That is crazy. And she's influential. She's high up in government. She did this on television. Millions of people will have seen this. She echoed it on her social media. She chose to imply that including different races in studies and then acting on the results is racist. Oh my God, my mind is blown. There was another conversation about this in the hearing as well, where one of the men wanted to make sure that Native Americans are included in studies.
I do everything I can to make sure that there's Native Americans in clinical trials. I spent 20% of my career working on Native issues. My family's been deeply involved with them. My father and uncle were big critics of the Indian Health Service, a failure to deliver good health results or health care on the reservations.
Will you commit to finalizing the congressionally mandated FDA guidance to increasing clinical trial diversity?
Yes.
So she's definitely been exposed to the idea that we do actually want other races included besides just white men. What? I can't remember specific examples off the top of my head, so I'm going to ask AI. Hang on. Could you give me an example of a scenario where they have started introducing women into studies instead of just white men and it has been useful?
A major breakthrough came when researchers started including women in studies and discovered that women often experience different heart attack symptoms than men. While men typically report chest pain, women are more likely to have symptoms like nausea, fatigue, shortness of breath, or back pain. One strong example is cardiovascular disease research. For decades, most clinical studies on heart disease were conducted primarily on white men, leading to a significant gap in understanding how symptoms and risk factors present in women.
That's very useful. I don't see that as sexist. If RFK Jr. would like to recommend treating women differently based on the results that come out of our studies on women and heart attacks, yes, do. Could you give me an example of a scenario where they have started introducing another race into studies instead of just white men and it has been useful?
For example, Black patients are more likely to have a genetic variant that makes them less responsive to common asthma medications like albuterol. This discovery has pushed for more personalized treatments and highlighted the need for alternative medication. A great example is the inclusion of Black patients in asthma research. For a long time, most asthma studies focused on white populations, leading to treatments that weren't as effective for Black patients, who have higher asthma rates and more severe symptoms. When researchers started including more diverse participants, they found that genetic and environmental factors play a big role.
Well, guys, I don't know what to say. Now, the opposite of racism, being inclusive, diversity, now that is considered racist as well. The next thing will be that RFK Jr. breathed in a racist way, I think, and that's why they're voting no on him. I hope RFK Jr. wins, because this type of thinking cannot prevail. It's good. It's that what he talked about was science. He referenced studies, he referenced papers, and she just, I don't know, she just referenced her own bias and emotions and judgment, and yeah, I don't know, I don't even know what to say. Goodbye, guys. See you next time.